that feeling of playing the Masters for the first time has got to be such a unreal experience. Like hitting
100%.
that first tee shot with that type of crowd there on a Thursday, because it's not like any other tournament where it's like, you know, weekends pick up. That place is packed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and obviously
people.
the weekend.
People go just for the practice rounds. I mean, you can, when you get selected, like sometimes you only get practice rounds, and people go. Like they're like, oh yeah, they make a week out of it. So yeah, it's like the only tournament outside of the waste management, because when we were at waste management, a lot of people were there during the week drinking already. This is a completely different vibe, and the fact that also like you can't even have your phone in there. Like it's just like once you're there, nothing else in the world matters. And then, like you mentioned, like the guys playing the first time, you can see what it means to them. Like, obviously, when we spoke to Rafa and Nico, but like Rafa's answer specifically was like he was so like he pretty much almost started crying. Like that, like that's how emotional he got and how passionate he is to want to get to play in this event. It's every golfer's dream, and yeah, and we're here.
What is going on, everybody? We are here at Bodega in the Grove, home of the Masters Watch Party this week. We'll be filming our Tranquilo Sports episode, get into a little bit of some Masters talk. Big week.
Biggest week of the year.
A lot of stories going on this week, but more than anything, it's one of the best weeks in golf. One of the best weeks of the year.
Sports. Yeah.
So let's get right into it. It's a big week. We got a lot of picks this week.
I have too many picks already, by the way. I've done the thing where on Monday, I've got 9 golfers already. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to only add from here. And then that's how I lose a ton of money on the Masters. But
what other way to do it?
There's no other way to do it. That is the way to do it.
We got the pools kicking. We got a bunch of...
The pool is kicking. The pool is flying right now.
How many do we have?
We are at, after day one, like 50 plus. So last year's record was 135.
Damn.
So I don't know. By the time this drops, the tournament started already. So
true. But either way, big week. What's your thoughts on just tournament? Obviously, there's a ton of history here. We kind of know the layout of how this whole week works, but it's just always magical this week. And the field is always going to be good. You got the whole live guys all there this week too. Not all of them, but the heavy hitters.
A good chunk of them.
Will be there. So it's the first tournament again of the year where we'll see some of these guys. We had them this week here in Miami playing at the
I went to that on Sunday. So
and I saw a couple big names up there. DeChambeau was up there, Phil was up there, Dustin was up there
Rahm
for a little bit. He
kind
of felt Rahm got hot there at the end. Cam got hot there at the end.
He did, yeah.
I mean, that's a very, very tough course, as we know. Playing there, it's not fun, and they're playing from the tips on a windy weekend.
It was
this weekend.
extremely windy too.
So yeah, it was hard for those guys to score, but I think that's a great tournament if you're a live guy to
100%.
play into. Obviously, very different type of course, but challenging.
There was only like 5 guys under par.
No, I know.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But
one guy shoot a +12 one of the days.
yeah. I think it was Michael Kim, or not Michael Kim.
No, it wasn't Michael Kim. I forget what that guy's name was.
Yeah.
But he shot a 12 over. Around 2.
But yeah, if I'm a live guy, that's supposedly what the rumor was, because they had it in October when it first started. they moved it to that date because they wanted a tough test before Augusta.
Okay.
And it kind of fit. They're in Florida. Georgia's right there. Right. Kind of fit. And it is a championship level course. Like, that's a course that used to be on the PGA. Now it's on Live. Mm-hmm. I think it would be a perfect like U.S. Open venue, possibly even Ryder Cup. I think honestly, I think that's it showed its teeth this weekend, which I think is perfect leading into obviously the biggest major of the year, one of the biggest tournaments. Well, the biggest tournament of like ever is the Masters, and yeah, it's just like it's this week. It's like from everything from start to finish of like the amount of content that gets put out, right? It's like everyone's locked in from Monday. You're seeing interviews of people that you would normally not even watch. You're watching people on the range. There's this new feature that you can watch like the tracking of their shots on the range. Like it's little things like that.
Every single person will be
every single person, exactly, yeah. So it's like a golf sicko's dream.
Yeah.
And then obviously the history of it, the fact that the only way to go is entering this raffle or paying thousands of dollars essentially, but entering the raffle, getting it in your select days, you try to win.
You can't really buy your way in because you can't. There's no aftermarket thing. There's companies I think that do like packages that you can buy to get in.
Well, there's people that do try to resell their tickets.
Well,
like you can go now and like SubHub and like buy a ticket for like $8,000.
Really?
But if the Masters catches you, they will cancel your ticket.
Okay. Yeah. That's
like this guy.
Did you see that story on Twitter?
Yes. This guy who this guy created a fake Facebook for is like, I'm selling my tickets, and the Masters deleted his ticket access essentially, and it wasn't him. It was like a fake person. Yeah. So I think the exclusivity is like. Obviously, it adds to the flair to the event, and then obviously it's one of the nicest courses. Every player on tour, their dream is to play at the Masters at Augusta. So, it's just I think everything that's built around it obviously adds to it, and the fact that it is the first major, it's the first one that really not necessarily counts, but like it's everyone's together, so it feels kind of like how it used to feel, and yeah, so. I'm excited. I always get super excited. Again, I have 9 bets already. I'm going to keep climbing as we go. But yeah, this week is essentially immaculate.
Yeah, and not only you getting everyone together, but there's also a bunch of first timers.
Yes,
which is sick, right? And
some of the guys we had recently.
Exactly. Rafa is up there. Nico's up there. Right? There's a couple of the first timers, and there's a bunch of other names. But that feeling of playing the Masters for the first time has got to be such a unreal experience, like 100%. Hitting that first tee shot with that type of crowd there on a Thursday. Because it's not like any other tournament where it's like, weekends pick up. That place is packed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and obviously the weekend. Yeah,
people go just for the practice rounds. Yeah. I mean, when you get selected, like sometimes you only get practice rounds, and people go. Like they're like, they make a week out of it. So yeah, it's like the only tournament. Outside of the waste management, because when we were at waste management, a lot of people were there during the week drinking already. This is a completely different vibe, and the fact that also like you can't even have your phone in there. Like it's just like once you're there, nothing else in the world matters.
Yeah.
And then like you mentioned, like the guys playing the first time, you can see what it means to them. Like obviously when we spoke to Rafa and Nico, but like Rafa's answer specifically was like he was so like he pretty much almost started crying like that. Like that's how emotional he got and how passionate he is. To want to get to play in this event. It's every golfer's dream, and we're here.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a big week. So let's get into a little bit of who we like this week, who we don't like this week. It's a stacked field, and then anybody's tournament at the end of the day, right? Like you're always going to have the Scotties, the Rorys, Aberg's up there, Colin is up there, but at the end of the day. Anybody's tournament, and we know that this tournament does play that way. I mean, you'll always have the big names up there at the top, but I want to start with from the Live guys. Who do you like out of that group?
I took this guy months ago. I think he's one of the best golfers in the world, and it is my guy Bryson DeChambeau. I think Bryson. I was about to go on a 3-week streak of hitting Hav at Valspar, hitting Minwoo, and then having Bryson at Live.
You had him this week?
He did blow up on Sunday, which is not ideal,
no.
But he ended on a sick birdie. So, it's momentum from there. No. Bryson's got nothing going on. Pooch, stop it. Anyway, Bryson, I think, is one, he's the best player on Live, in my opinion. People want to say Wacko, things like that. I still think it's Bryson. And I think his game fits the Masters well in terms of, everyone knows he's the heaviest hitter on tour. His approach to the green is top notch. Around the greens kind of gets funky with it, and he just changed a bunch of his clubs, and he's kind of like one of those guys that's like, I mean, he's also just a YouTube golf star, but he's also just a golf star. He just loves the game, and I don't know. I think obviously everyone's dreams to win, but like he is, I think, locked in this year, and I think last year, I mean, was the best he had ever played in the Masters. I think he finished top 6, and I think he's gonna be in the top this weekend. I'm almost certain.
He should be in contention. Another name is Brooks.
Yes.
Brooks obviously is like the majors guy. Come majors time, he hits a different switch. He's got a different level of competitiveness to him, and he, for whatever reason, likes to turn it on these type of weeks and always finds a way to be in contention. So Brooks is a name that I feel like you can't keep out, even though he may not be playing his best, but we've seen that from Brooks before, where it's like he's not playing well, and then all of a sudden major comes and all of a sudden he can go and win it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how Brooks is. I mean, you got Rahm, obviously, that's won there before.
I like Rahm a lot.
Yeah. Can he do it?
I'm gonna jump in on Rahm real quick because I've got Rahm as one of my other guys as well.
Okay.
I also do have Brooks at a lower price because I'm like, whatever. It's Brooks. It's majors. He's gonna somehow to get in there. But Rahm is one person I actually really like. I think last year's major season, he was dealing with so much of like from the move to live, like last Masters, like it was his first time being back. All the noise was around him. Then you saw him toward the end of the year get more comfortable, in these majors. Like his performance at the Open was really good, and then he doesn't place anywhere near outside of the top 10 and live. So I think Rahm. I think he could actually legit win this weekend.
Crazy.
And I think people are kind of sleeping on him a little bit because while he hasn't necessarily won on live, he's been in like top 5 every single time. And then, he's won before here, and we know he's a 2-time majors champ. So I like Rahm a lot. And I got a Brooks story for you too, because Brooks, I was at the Heat game on Saturday, and I was at the lounge, like the little bar area, and Brooks is there. I was like, dude, this guy's got a round tomorrow, and he's here at the Heat game. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, so then I'm like, okay, he's got to be terrible tomorrow. He started double bogey, whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, there's Brooks. I mean, he was getting hammered last night. And then next thing I know, like he goes on a run to end the day. And I'm like, oh, this is classic. Like Brooks is going to just like take this and just run with it next weekend, isn't he? I don't know, but he's somebody like you can't count him out, but it's just so classic Brooks. He's like, nobody would be at the Heat game right before your final round of a tournament except him. So
yeah, no, Brooks is 101.
He's 101.
There's no one like him, and again, he'll find the way to be in contention this week. Let's flip the switch. You got obviously a stacked PGA Tour field as well. All the major players are going to be there. Aberg is a big name that people are talking about this week. And then of course there's the Rory narrative, right? Like Rory's never won here.
That's the biggest story.
He's already won twice this year, 2 signature events. He's probably right now the hottest player you could say, right? I mean, I don't think he's missed outside the top 10, top 20 this year, and obviously 2 big wins. So Rory obviously is the name. Right? I mean, Scotty is the favorite, but Rory is right behind him as the favorite to win this week.
Yeah.
Can he pull it off? Absolutely. Will he pull it off? It's like,
absolutely not. Those are my famous last words, by the way. He's absolutely winning now. Rory, I agree in terms of outside of, Victor Hovland obviously being the hottest golfer in the world, he just won. But Rory is, in terms of storyline, it's the biggest story this year. I mean, it's always talked about.
Yeah.
But like he's never been like, obviously he's been in this form in the past, but like he genuinely looks like the best golfer in the world. 100%. I think he looks better than Scotty. It just seems so destined. But then, like, he just doesn't do it. Like, it's just like he's never won the Masters. He's never won in April in general. I think there's so much pressure on him that I don't know how he can sustain it.
It mounts over time too. Imagine like you play more of these Masters and you don't win, then the narrative gets louder and louder and louder and louder, and it might be even louder this year than it might have been in the last couple of years, strictly because of how well he's playing right now.
I agree.
And I think that's for him where it might be the crutch again for him. It's because he knows he's playing well. He knows this could be the year just based on how well his game is playing right now. But is that pressure again going to be too much? And Rory can handle pressure. There's not a doubt about that, right? Yeah. But there's, again, a different level of pressure. And when you're there at the top of the leaderboard with all these big names, what's going to happen? I think that's the biggest question. Like, where will Rory be on Saturday, right, and Sunday? And if he is in contention,
I think Rory. It wouldn't shock me if. Like, it wouldn't technically shock me if he won because of how good he's playing. It would shock me in the sense of, like, obviously he's never done it, and it'd be the craziest storyline and whatever. But, like, I can just imagine this scenario. It's 18 on Sunday.
That's what I mean.
And to tie, let's say to tie, or to win it. Let's say to win it, he's got, like, a 7-footer, like, to win it. I don't know if he's going to hit it. I would never hit it.
No, I wouldn't hit it.
But
I will say this, because he's already missed that putt before in a high-pressure situation,
so
I think he's already in that mindset where he's prepared for that moment.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if it happens again, then you have to have the discussion.
It'd be hilarious,
like,
but yeah.
The clutch gene of Rory is just not really there. My man, he's had tons of clutch shots in his career. But if something were like that to happen again, then it's a completely mental thing because obviously the skill set's there.
Yeah, and I think majority is mental for him. I mean, he obviously is very good. It's just like it is a lot of pressure, and so whether he'll do it or not, I don't know. But it is definitely the biggest story going in. And then there's Scotty,
of course,
and then Scotty's going for number 3.
Scotty's playing well. It's just that he's not playing at the same level, obviously, that we've seen Scotty play for like the last 2 years, basically.
Yeah.
But he's I feel like his game has improved. He's kind of back to the same woes with the putter again, though. The putter is not as hot as we saw it when he was playing well. I mean, the iron game's still there. He's still finding fairways. Like, he's putting himself in positions, but he seems frustrated with the putter. I don't know if it's a mix of, like, a lot of the times when he's missing these putts, it's more about, I don't know if he's not reading the putts well, and he doesn't have that eye, but it doesn't seem like more of like a mechanical issue. It seems more of like he's just not getting the right reads on some of these putts, and that's also part of the problem. But if the putter gets hot this week, he's going to be up there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
because the ball striking's everything's there.
This course is a perfect fit for him. Obviously, his caddy is also a 4-time Masters champ. So in terms of the reads, he's going to have probably better reads this week than probably anybody.
Yeah.
Now whether or not he completes it, I think there's something with Scotty. Granted, he can go out and win and ruin my weekend as he's done 2 of the last 3 years. But like, there's just seems like there's been something off with him. I think the injury for sure plays a part in that. I do think what we saw at what was it, Valero? No, Valero was this weekend.
Valero was this week.
It was Houston.
Children's Open.
That that last round where he goes, you think that he's like, oh man, Minwoo's gonna choke this thing, and like Scotty's coming. That was the first time this year.
Scotty did put a valiant charge on that.
That was the first time this year I'm like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
And it's not ideal that was the last round we saw him play.
Exactly.
So that's not ideal going into this.
Yeah.
But he's obviously one of the best players in the world still. He's Scotty Scheffler. Like, I hate his guts and he's going to lose, but he's now going to win. So it's hard to read him because like if he wins, it's just like, oh, there's Scotty again. Like it's in that, phase of like, this is a perfect course fit for him. And like, if he's playing well, he's almost impossible to beat here. Like, you need him to mess up and he rarely does. So somebody's going to have to go out there and actually beat him and not have to hope that he, kind of falls apart because he doesn't do that.
That's not part of him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I agree. I got a question. Who's a player that's on the field that playing well, should make the cut, but you don't think is going to make the cut this week?
Okay. Who I don't think is going to make the cut. I can go wild and say Rory McIlroy.
No.
As we were just talking about him.
Holy cow.
Just like if it just mentally gets to him and he just blows up round one, it's like... that
would be nuts.
Let me think of somebody. I don't think it's going to happen. Listen, this is a guy who I love, and I probably will end up taking him by the end of this week. Aberg is somebody who obviously has won already this year. He's obviously a phenom. He
was in contention
one
last
of
year.
The best, in the game. He was, first time playing last year, came runner-up. But he's kind of on a little bit of a downward trajectory in terms of he's missed his last 2 cuts. And if he were to miss a cut, I don't think he's going to miss it, but he can be someone to keep an eye on. That if he doesn't start hot, like he could, not get it there, because there's a chance that you can score high here. So like if you're not, the first 2 days, on all cylinders and depending on the weather, like he can miss a cut. Now, whether I wouldn't put money on him missing a cut. I'm just saying in terms of form, I'm a little slightly worried about him. But again, he's somebody who's so good that he's a robot. Like he literally can go out there and he can win and be like, oh, that doesn't shock me either. So, trying to think if there's anybody else. Yeah, I don't. You know who somebody. I got a name for you. Minwoo Lee. I think Minwoo Lee coming off his first win, biggest win obviously his career. It's biggest moment of his career. Maybe it's too much for him and
too close to comfort.
Yeah, basically. Too close to comfort and watch him miss. But yeah, I don't have anybody.
I feel like Minwoo's playing well.
He is playing well. But
obviously he won, but he's been at the top of leaderboards this year. Him missing a cut would be a bad bounce back considering the way he played last week.
I've got a couple bad guys. I think Homa is probably the worst golfer in the world right now.
I'm glad he brought up Homa, right? Because of how bad he's playing. I actually think he's going to make the cut this week.
Oh.
I think this is the week he makes
I don't know,
turn.
man. He legit
I
might be the
know.
worst
He's so lost,
golfer in the world.
but you know what? He made the caddy change.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, he made the
caddy change. I think that is enough to just kind of shake up the dynamic, fresh start.
Yeah.
And what better place to do it than the Masters? I actually like Homa to make the cut this week. When?
Yeah.
That's a stretch. But make the cut.
Okay.
I think
it's one of the easier cuts
he's played
to make.
Well, he's played well there before. Like he's been in contention at the Masters before.
Yeah.
Obviously when he was at his prime.
Yeah. No, but even it was last year. He had a chance. And then it was from that moment that he then went
that moment
downward spiral.
Feels like it almost shook him up a ton.
There's a few.
I love Phil this week, actually.
I love Phil this week. We'll get to Phil.
I see a top 15 in his life this week.
I like Phil a lot.
I don't know if he has it in it to pull off a win.
I think Phil's going to be.
But Phil's in great shape right now.
He played really well
this week.
Obviously,
he knows that course like the back of his head.
Three-time champ. 3 times.
3 times there. Yeah. So, Phil is a guy that I love this week. He always pretty much plays well there. I mean, the last couple of years, he's had really good rounds there.
Last year.
Phil can go and miss a cut 100% too.
Was it last year or it was the Rahm year that he was like top 5 2 years ago? So,
No, I do like Phil. I think he's a guy that could finish top 15 easily there this week. But Homa, I think, can make the turn this week and make a cut this week, and like in a big way.
I got another name that's not playing well either. That falls in the camp with Homa is a Matt Fitzpatrick. Like guys like that, I don't know. Like I'm staying away from them, but they're obviously big names that can make noise. I've got one more for this question because I actually like this question a lot, and it's another guy that I have money on, which I don't know why I'm about to say him again, is Waco. Waco Neiman.
Waco had a bad.
He had a bad tournament this past week, which listen, I'm not saying he's going to come out here and miss the cut. He's just somebody who's obviously so good.
Yeah.
He's dominates on live. He's got he's won already I think twice this year.
At least twice, 2 or 3 times for sure.
And it was the same narrative going into last year, and he's only had 1 top 20 in a major in his entire career.
Yeah.
And last year he he has a lot of hype around him last year. He didn't show out here at the Masters.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried about him. He did not play great at Doral this past weekend. So I'm hoping that's kind of a flash in the pan, and I'm hoping that, obviously I want him to do well. I think it would be great. Obviously, fellow Latino, shout out Waco, but he's somebody to keep an eye on that, this is his year, and if he wants to stand out and make that name for himself, I think he's got to make some noise.
Is Answer playing in this one?
No.
Answer's not playing, right?
No.
Because he played pretty well this week. He got hot. He started off a little cold, and then he picked up a little bit of steam there. I would have liked him this week out there, but Waco, to your point, has not played well in majors, but his name is always up there as a guy that can play well.
Phil said, talking about Phil. Phil said, he's the best player in the world right now.
Yeah,
so
I do remember that.
I don't necessarily agree with it.
Bold statement.
Yeah, it's an extremely bold statement. I think he's one of the top 10 players in the world. If I had to pick 10, Waco's in there. I don't think he's top 5. And I think even on Live, I think Bryson's the best player on Live, even without a win this year. But yeah.
So outside of the Rorys of the world, big names.
Here we go.
Who do you like this week? Who do we like?
Victor Hovland. Victor Hovland, let's just say, the last time we saw Victor Hovland, he was lifting a trophy. So Victor Hovland, we talk about Rory, and hottest golfer on tour. Last time we saw him, win. Victory. I see Victor Hovland putting on that beautiful green jacket this weekend. I think
that would be insane.
There's 2 things, and I'll do it. One, because obviously I'm going to pick Vic every single week he's playing. He's my guy. I think that win was so huge for him in the sense of I still don't think he even thinks that he's playing his best golf. He even said it. I've never seen somebody after a win be like, I'm still not really playing that well.
Yeah.
But I think the win proved 2 things. One, that he can still win, and he's still one of the best players in the world, even not playing his best. And 2, I think it's just kind of a weight off his shoulders in terms of maybe I can still do this.
Right.
He's gone through so many changes, so many coaches, so many different things. And then he pulls off a pretty crazy win in the sense of Valspar, basically the 5th major, had a really stacked it did have a very stacked field this year.
It was the most stacked that
it's
field's
been in a
long time.
And it's the way that he won in the sense of chasing down JT, down 3 strokes, with maybe 6 to go.
That week too.
And it's some of the shots that he hit that it just felt like the Hovland of 2013 or 2023. And I don't know, man. I've got this feeling, man. I'm feeling he's back, and he's putting on the green jacket.
That'd be crazy.
It's destiny.
What are his odds at right now?
So I took him months ago, at plus 4,500.
So it's probably a little bit lower now.
He's I think on Hard Rock he's plus 3,000.
Okay.
That's
some good value there.
Yeah. So there is value, and if he didn't win Valspar, he'd be plus 10,000, I think, honestly. But thank God he won it, and I got decent value on him. And I don't know, man. I think he's played here. He's played the majors very well. He hasn't won one yet.
Yeah.
But he's been in contention. He's been in contention here at the Masters. 2 years ago when Rahm ended up winning. So, that's my guy, and that's who I'm backing this week.
Oh yeah. Any dark horses?
Dark horses. Let me pull up the sheet.
Yeah.
Let me go through my sheet.
I got a dark horse.
I do like Phil. I don't know if he's gonna win, but I like Phil.
I think I could see a top 10 in Phil's life.
I do
top
have
15 maybe. I think he'll play well.
He's not necessarily a dark horse, but by his odds, he's a dark horse. He's plus 6,500.
Okay.
Sepp Straka. Sepp Straka is one of the best golfers on tour this year.
I think top 4 in FedEx rankings right now.
Yeah, he's got to win. He's playing extremely well. I thought the line was kind of crazy. Now, do I expect him to win? Maybe not, but if he wins, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world. He's playing that good. So Sepp Straka is my long shot.
I like that pick. At plus 6,000, that's pretty good value considering, it just shows you the testament of the field in general. A name we got to talk about is Angel Cabrera.
Oh, yeah.
Guy,
is that your long shot?
I'm going to put money on him. I wouldn't say he's my long shot. But guy was in prison.
Yeah, straight from jail.
Comes, and his first tournament back is a senior tour event, and he wins by 4 strokes. After being in prison for years. Yeah. Now he's going to come and play the Masters. Mm-hmm. If he makes the cut,
that would be one of the most
iconic Masters stories of all time. Guy's in prison, goes and wins a senior tour event, and then is going to go play the Masters, and then can go make a run at the cut. That would be insane.
It would be insane. Honestly, can you imagine the world that he just won, he just goes on this insane run. Obviously he's won before.
He was good.
He's an old dude, just fresh out of prison, who just won a golf tournament. It's what the hell?
Well, his odds are plus 100,000 or
100%.
something like that. Yeah, plus 100,000. So fraud. Oh. Yeah. He didn't kill anyone, but he was in there for fraud. Served a couple years in prison, and he's out and he's clean, and he did he did what he needed to do. Made a mistake, but He's out here ready to play some golf.
He's back.
I like. Okay, so if I have to do some, I guess, long shots, I like Maverick McNeely this week.
All right, Mav. Okay.
Mav is sneaky when he's playing well. I feel like he can compete. He's been up there on the leaderboard a few times. I feel a good fit for a course like this, and I think someone like him could float around there, up there in the leaderboard, come off to a hot start, and ride that momentum into the weekend.
All right, I like that.
I think he has a chance to sneak around.
Okay.
And then, I love JT. I still think he's still playing extremely well.
JT's an
I think he's
interesting
still
one.
playing. I still think he's playing really well.
He is.
And he's got all the tools to succeed. And he knows, again, he's been here multiple times. Mm-hmm. I like him. He's got pretty decent odds considering, how well he's playing at plus 2250. Mm-hmm. I like it there. And then, of course, we're going to ride with my guy at a great, great value.
Oh, man, here we go.
Mr. Sahith Theegala.
Oh, my God.
He's another guy, may not be playing well, but he's not playing bad. He's making cuts. He's finishing a couple top 20 finishes, top 25. But you know what? What better week to figure it out
than the Masters?
You
You think Sahith Theegala is going to figure it out at the Masters?
Are you kidding me? Do you know Sahith? If there's a guy that can figure it out,
I don't know. Yeah. Oh my God!
That guy can hit any shot in the books. If he's in trouble, he'll figure it out. He's just got. If he can get he's another one.
He's got to get the putter rolling. He's got to get the putter rolling. Yeah.
He's just not hitting putts.
Yeah.
That's Sahith's thing. If he's not hitting putts, he's not gonna have a chance. But we've seen Sahith be able to roll 40-footers in consistently, right? Yeah. So if he could find the putter this week, be careful because that guy is gonna make a run. And then I really, really, really like Jason Day this week.
Wow, okay. All right. Mr. Malbon.
He's going to have some crazy fits on, a little bit more on the conservative side this year. But he's going to, there's a lot of hype around him, a lot of hype around his fits. I think he's going to match the fit with, you look good, feel good, play good.
I love that.
I think J Day is going to come out and he's going to have some crazy fits on. And if he's on contention on Sunday and he's got that fit on.
I love it.
That's going to be sick. And I don't know who this guy is. I got to do some digging on him. Joo Young Kim, we were talking about him before. I'm putting money on him just because I've never even seen his name before.
Just because he's a random guy?
Random guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is.
That's usually the one that sneaks under your nose.
That's what I'm saying. You know who also has been playing really well?
Who?
Ryu.
Oh, he had. Ryu has been playing.
Ryu's been playing great.
Ever since
he hasn't won, but
we went to Cognizant.
Wasn't he like top 10 at Valspar?
Yeah, he's been in he was top 5 again this week too.
Yeah. He's someone who's been playing. I remember what he holed out when we were at the practice round. Yeah. All right, I'm going to do a rapid fire of some of the other guys I've got to wrap my end out. Outside of, obviously, I've got Hov, I've got Bryson, like I mentioned. I've got Brooks, like I mentioned. I've got Rahm as well. Someone I like a lot this week, I like Xander.
Really?
I'm a little worried about the injury and how he initially came back, but the way that Xander kind of played at Valspar, the fact that he's had a couple weeks kind of off, I think Xander is someone and he's contended here before. I think Xander at his price is pretty interesting. I've got Shane Lowry. I think Shane can, Shane's been playing really well. I don't know if he can win, but he's just, in terms of playing well, he's one of the guys playing the best right now. Another kind of long shot I've got is Willie Z. Willie Z, someone who's, I don't think ever finished outside of the top 10 at the Masters.
I liked him in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And he hasn't played a ton this year, but he has played well in a couple of the tournaments that he's played this year.
So Willie Z's also kind of a sleeper, and then my last two I already said, but Brooks and Waka. Let's see what they
You want to know who Joo Young Kim is?
Who?
You're not going to believe this.
Who?
It's Tom Kim.
What?
Yeah.
Why do they listen to
I don't know
like that?
Listen to his name. Joo Young Kim is Tom Kim.
Oh shit! I thought it was like, dude, when you asked him, I have no idea who that is.
Who is that?
Yeah.
Did he ask to be?
I don't know.
No, he still goes by Tom there.
On the Hard Rock,
Hard Rock. I don't know
Joo Young
Hard
Kim.
Rock, fix your names, man.
But they have him as Joo Young Kim on here.
Yeah.
So I'm still taking him either way because I was going to take him. Actually, and another one too, who a couple people are talking about him, but he has not given enough credit this year. Is Michael Kim, bro.
Michael Kim is.
He was at contention at Cognizant. He's been at contention a couple. He played himself into this tournament, basically.
100%. Yeah.
And that's just strictly about how well he's playing this weekend. He's at great odds, plus 15,000.
Yeah.
I like Michael Kim a lot. You're competing against the best of the best, but he's played in tournaments.
He's an
with some
online
big
warrior
names.
too.
Yeah, dude,
He's a
awesome.
big content guy.
He's been great. He gave like a whole recap about his first day at the Masters and his experience. Did like a little food rating on all the sandwiches and stuff like that. But I like him this week too.
Cool.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for some Master Talk. Obviously, there's a ton of storylines, and it's gonna be a good week. I wish. I wish for a good weekend this weekend. I want it. I want it to be close on Sunday. I want it to be.
I feel like we haven't had a real close one in a while, in the sense of like we've had some like weekend
closeness, runs away
and then
with
someone
it.
at the end back nine kind of runs away with it. So I am hoping it's a really good finish, and then hoping to see all you guys here at Bodega in the Grove. Obviously doing the huge watch party here, so come by. It's gonna be freaking awesome. So cheers to Masters Week, and hey, shout out to the Florida Gators, by the way.
Oh yeah,
we're all Masters, but we'll give them a shout out because they just won the national championship last night. So
that was a good one for them. Great stories too, bro. Like,
crazy
underdog team.
Came back like the last 3 games have been insane, but
that was the team that they were all season. That was sick. But all right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Happy Masters Week.